Why not? Because we have limited time. I know. Thank you for your call. Let's turn our attention to Dr. Roger Gewolb, CEO of Fair Money. He's been frothing away. Roger, good morning.
Good morning.
You love a bit of froth. So, tax cuts. Rishi said he wanted them, and then Jeremy Hunt said no, and then they seem to be doing some, and who only knows? I don't know. Rudderless. Anyway, you've been tutting. What have you been tutting about?
Well, as you say, a fortnight ago, Hunt, with his recent minus 15% approval rating, told us adamantly that there will be no tax cuts. We can't afford them. Then Rishi and company come along and tell us we're going to have tax cut benefits for top earners, reductions in stamp duty, and possibly abolition of inheritance tax. And yet nothing for the poorer demographic. The lowest threshold of £12,570 will not so far be raised to, say, 20,000 as suggested, to help the lowest
earners.
Okay,
the cynical inside me says, yeah, the reason for that is in the same way that Labour is very happy to put VAT on private school fees on the basis that most private school fee-paying parents are not going to be voting for Labour. So what do they care?
Yeah, it's obviously a flagrant and blatant play for wealthier voters. I mean, just like they're taking...
That's the highest tax burden in 70 years. Why the heck should I work harder if they're just going to take all my money, Roger?
It's just like they're taking... It's just like they're taking migrants out of hotels in blue areas. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but then we shouldn't have been in a situation where we're spending £8.2 million a day on putting people into hotels at our expense. Anyway, apparently you've got some geese that you want to talk about.
Well, yeah, what's good for the goose, gander, etc. I mean, I'm asking myself, why isn't Labour all over this? Why aren't they attacking the Tories for not proposing something to do with the lowest tax burden? Is it because they don't want to hand them the impetus to do it? They want to do it themselves? But when you look at the list of all the things they proposed, it's not there.
Because the target would come, how will you pay for it?
Well, in the same way that Rishi will pay for the inheritance tax, for example.
Yes, but inheritance tax is something in the future. I mean, you know, we're dealing with something that doesn't actually cost very much at the time. If you change the tax burdens or limits day one, particularly if you do it for everybody in the nation, the cost is astronomical.
Well, they're talking about the stamp duty and the threshold for top earners immediately, and they'll probably.
But they've got to rescue the housing market somehow. Meanwhile, Roger, let's talk about getting back to the office. Apparently, we can no longer stay working at home.
Well, most people, recent studies have shown, James, are now spending 5 days in the offices. There are some exceptions with 3 to 4, but some studies have also shown that the most successful thing is to get rid of cubicles and have open spaces. That makes sense. Cubicles are terrible. And to let employees elect when they come in or not. And there have been some very impressive results that people leaving their jobs has decreased by 7% in companies that have done that.
Well, I guess the issue is that people are staying, I don't know, working flexibly. And look, there are lots of businesses where people can work from home or collaborate or otherwise. But you're absolutely right. The way that office space is being used or can be used is probably going to continue to change. Anyway, Roger, thank you very much indeed for speaking with us this morning. That's Dr. Roger Gewolb, he's CEO of Fair Money, bringing us up to date with those finance stories. Meanwhile,